There was a weird moment between the ref and Caitlin Clark.
Crazier situations that happened in the game.
Caitlin Clark trying to have a conversation with a WNBA referee.
Caitlin Clark literally said to the ref.
What did he say to Caitlin? He whispered something.
And made a gesture, I'm calling the league on you, I'm calling the league on you. The referee 100% said something completely out of pocket. The referees were horrible.
It's pretty brutal.
Caitlin's just absolutely done with it.
Caitlin Clark visibly upset with the referee.
What we just witnessed was more than a bad call. It was a pattern.
At one point, she's almost triple teamed. I mean, the physicality, the level of defense that they play on this girl, and then the fact that she just never gets the calls. It's so frustrating what they allow to happen to Caitlin Clark.
A new angle has exposed what fans have been saying for weeks. Caitlin Clark is being targeted.
Look, JC Sheldon knees CC in the groin.
And the refs are letting it happen. She's pushed, hacked, even injured, and still no whistles. If you believe Caitlin deserves better, drop a 100% in the comments right now.
She's the one. She's the one bringing all the viewers.
And the Indiana Fever plays their best when Caitlin is on the floor. Yeah, I get it 1,000%.
Let's get into it. From the very first minutes of the game, Caitlin Clark is met with a level of physicality that borders on reckless. And it's not just once or twice. It's possession after possession, game after game.
It's so frustrating what they allow to happen to Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is cumulative. This is going to keep happening. This game alone, the amount of physical abuse that this girl's getting just hit with.
There are clips showing her getting double and triple teamed before she even crosses half court. In one moment, a defender presses so close to her that she loses balance and falls. And yet Caitlin is still surrounded by two more defenders without a single whistle blown. This isn't tight defense. This is targeted physical harassment.
At one point, she's almost triple teamed. I mean, the physicality, the level of defense that they play on this girl, and then the fact that she just never gets the calls.
Inside of that right leg. Yeah, she kind of pull up a little bit.
One frame shows her being picked up underneath the basket before the offense even begins.
The player covering Caitlin Clark here is so close to her, is so much on top of her that she actually falls down. She loses her balance, and then it still leads to a double team on Caitlin Clark. Just watch. She inbounds the ball. She's so on top of her that she just falls down.
Who else in the WNBA gets guarded like that? This isn't a strategy, it's a message. Make her uncomfortable, slow her down, and the refs won't stop us. Even seasoned broadcasters are stunned. Analysts have pointed out how no other player in the league is officiated this way, getting bodied, bumped, held, and hand-checked constantly, yet almost never rewarded with a foul. In fact, it's become so normalized that opposing teams are using it as a blueprint. Wear Caitlin down physically and take advantage of the league's silence. There was a play where she was sandwiched by two defenders while bringing the ball up. Not in the final moments, not on a game-winning possession, but 2 minutes into the first quarter.
It's non-stop. No other player is facing this. No other player. It's double team and physicality, play after play after play. It's non-stop.
Another time, she exploded on a cut, made a perfect backdoor pass, and immediately clutched her right leg in pain. You could see it in her face. Not just discomfort, but genuine anguish. And still, no call. And if you're thinking this is just tough basketball, look again. JC Sheldon kneeing Caitlin in the groin. No foul, another defender slapping her arm while she's going up, ruled as incidental contact.
JC Sheldon kneeing Caitlin Clark in the groin.
But it's a foul. It is clearly a foul, and obviously this is called as a no call.
How many times does she have to take these hits before someone steps in? What's worse is that this kind of contact isn't being allowed across the board. It's disproportionately happening to Caitlin. Rebecca Lobo, a veteran analyst, even called it out live. That's a foul. That's a foul. That's a foul. It was like Oprah handing out fouls, and yet, not a single whistle on the court. At some point, it stops being just physical play.
What is your description of kind of the physical battle that Caitlin particularly faces?
Yeah, I mean, there's a level of physicality that they're able to play with against her. You know, I knew it as an opponent, and I see it as her coach. And you know, I'm not exactly sure why, but it just is what it is. And we've got to help her learn to adjust.
And starts looking like intentional targeting. And the league, through its inaction, is silently allowing it. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball. She's surviving every possession. And yet she never backs down. Despite the hits, despite the silence, she keeps showing up. But how long can she do that before the wear and tear takes something from her that can't be repaired? Let's move to the next part, how the refs are actively letting this happen.
Caitlin Clark is having a normal conversation with the referee. A normal conversation. They're talking. The ref says something to her, and they're talking. And then the ref says something to her here, and she's like, "What?" And as soon as the ref says that, he's walking away, and she loses it. She's absolutely losing it.
It's one thing for defenders to be aggressive. That's part of the game. But when officials swallow their whistles while one player takes hit after hit, that's not just bad officiating. It's dangerous. And Caitlin Clark is living proof. In the most recent games, we've seen incident after incident where Caitlin is clearly fouled, clearly targeted, and the referees do nothing. Let's start with the knee to the groin she took from J.C. Sheldon. It wasn't just a brush. Sheldon's leg extended directly into Caitlin's left groin area. Replay confirmed the contact. Commentators pointed out. Viewers cringed. But what did the officials call? Nothing. Not even a common foul. How is that legal contact in professional basketball? And that's not an isolated case. Minutes later, Caitlin drove up the court, drew contact again, and not only did the whistle stay silent, but when she retaliated with the slightest shove out of frustration, she was the one they almost penalized. Think about that. She's getting fouled, responding emotionally after being hit repeatedly, and still no one steps in to defend her. In another moment, Tina Charles turns and delivers a stiff forearm to a teammate of Caitlin's. No flagrant, no ejection, not even a warning. And that same standard is applied when Caitlin herself gets clobbered. There's a play where Saya Rivers slaps Kelsey Mitchell across the face. A clean strike on camera. Referees review it and call it incidental contact. If this is what counts as incidental, what does it take for something to be called a foul? Even worse, the refs aren't just missing calls. They're now part of the problem.
How is you're looking at her get assaulted?
She's then screaming down at the referee, like as it's happening. And then she's there, like trying to get the referee to come closer during this play. And then she's literally like, saying he's going to call the league for her, and then on him, and keeps going at him.
There was a shocking moment where Caitlin Clark, usually composed, calm, respectful, finally had enough. During a dead ball moment, she approached the referee calmly, and then his response clearly crossed the line. Whatever he said caused her to snap.
Caitlin Clark literally said to the ref, made a gesture, "I'm calling the league on you. I'm calling the league on you. This is just a crazy situation."
For the first time, Caitlin Clark threatened to call the league on a referee. That's not just frustration. That's a boiling point. And that should send a signal that something is very, very wrong. And what was the league's reaction? Nothing. No statement, no public accountability. The referee didn't even issue a technical foul, which tells us all we need to know. If a player screams at you, visibly upset, and you don't penalize her, it's probably because you know you messed up. This isn't just about a few missed calls. This is about a pattern of selective officiating that puts one player, the league's biggest star, at constant risk. Caitlin Clark is being played differently, treated differently, and officiated differently, and not in a good way. Even WNBA veterans have subtly acknowledged it. Tina Charles admitted post-game that their strategy was full-court pressure from the opening tip. Why? Because they know it's effective, not just because it tires Caitlin out, but because the refs let them do it. You can grab her, you can bump her, you can hip check her in transition, and most nights you'll get away with it. And when her coaches don't fight for her, when league officials remain silent,
Caitlin's just absolutely done with it. You can see, and I mean it, like, she's every right, depending on what the ref said, I think she's every right to lose it at a ref this year. I think she has absolutely every right to lose it at least one ref this year. But, like, if the ref said anything that even could possibly be inappropriate, that referee shouldn't be allowed to ref again.
when referees treat her frustration like it's nothing, what message is being sent? That this is okay? That the WNBA is fine watching its biggest star get punished for being popular? And make no mistake, that's exactly what's happening. Caitlin Clark is being refereed differently because of who she is, not what she does. Officials are afraid of calling too many fouls in her favor.
The officials really let him play. Like, if you're watching these WNBA games religiously at this point, the most common thread through every game is, God, this officiating is...
Worried about the perception of favoritism. But in trying not to look biased, they've become exactly that, biased against her. This leads to a dangerous cycle. Referees ignore blatant fouls. Players test boundaries and push harder. Caitlin gets more frustrated, more exhausted, more vulnerable, and eventually, as we've seen, more injured. We're not talking about flopping or minor hand checks. We're talking about knees to the groin, forearms to the face, emotional breakdowns on the court, and referees literally arguing back when she asks for a basic call. This isn't professional officiating, it's negligence. And the longer it goes unchecked, the closer we come to seeing something irreversible happen. To Caitlin's health, her career, or the trust fans place in this league. And now the consequences are showing up, not just on the scoreboard, but on Caitlin's body. Let's talk about the toll this is taking on her and why the league's silence might cost them everything.
They defended Caitlin one way the entire game, and the referees were biting their whistle. They were refusing to give everything.
What happens when you let the most targeted player in the league take hit after hit, night after night, and nobody steps in to protect her? Eventually, her body breaks down, and now we're seeing it in real time. In the latest game, Caitlin Clark made a signature backdoor pass, but as she landed, her momentum stopped suddenly. She reached for her groin immediately, wincing, visibly in pain.
Really, really, really difficult at times to see Caitlin like this.
This wasn't an overreaction or a flop. This was a re-aggravation of the same injury that's haunted her throughout the season.
Did you see last night Caitlin Clark holding her groin, digging her head in the stanchion in pain, tears coming to her eyes?
She tried to walk it off, stayed in the game for a few more plays, and even hit a clutch three. But right after that, she sat on the bench with a towel over her head, emotionally and physically exhausted. You could see it in her face. The weight of the pain, the pressure, and the silence. This wasn't just a pulled muscle. It was a culmination of weeks of abuse, poor protection, and constant targeting. Let's back up. This groin injury isn't new. It's part of a larger pattern of physical decline.
Caitlin Clark potentially hurt her groin again.
Caitlin has already missed games this season due to quad and groin injuries on both sides of her body. Analysts and fans alike are beginning to point out the trend. First her right leg, now her left. You don't have to be a doctor to connect the dots. She's been overused, beaten up, and run into the ground by defenders, all while getting no protection from referees. But here's where it gets worse. She's still playing through it. Against medical caution, against common sense, she's laced up her shoes, stepped back on the court, and kept giving fans what they came to see. Because Caitlin Clark knows something the league is too afraid to say out loud. Without her, the WNBA product takes a major hit. Ratings, merchandise, ticket sales, all of it is up this year, and she's the reason.
fans are watching Caitlin Clark, take a beating game in and game out. They're letting them play. It's a physical game, a lot of trips to the line, a lot of non-calls. But then ultimately get to this point in the third quarter where Caitlin Clark is talking with one of the officials, and suddenly he had to have said something.
No. So she plays and pays the price. The All-Star Weekend was supposed to be her moment. She's the unofficial host, the captain, the biggest draw in her home city. Fans planned travel, bought tickets, and tuned in just to see her. But now, after her latest injury, it looks like she's out. And just like that, the WNBA's biggest stage may go dark. Why? Because instead of adjusting the way she's officiated, instead of protecting her like a true star, like other leagues do with LeBron, Steph, or Sabrina, the WNBA let her get pushed to the edge. And now they've lost their biggest name, possibly for weeks. That's not just bad luck. That's a leadership failure. And let's talk about the emotional toll. When Caitlin Clark approached the ref to voice her frustration, calmly, respectfully, what she got back wasn't concern or professionalism. It was condescension. The ref said something so out of line that Caitlin lost her composure. Her body language changed instantly. She yelled back, angry and stunned, and threatened to call the league. The ref didn't give her a technical foul, not because he respected her, but because he knew he had crossed a line.
Caitlin Clark visibly upset with the referee, screaming on the referee, but gets no technical foul.
How often does a rookie or any player confront a ref like that? And more importantly, how often do they walk away without a technical unless the ref knows he's the one who went too far? And where were the coaches? Where was her head coach stepping in, putting an arm around her, standing between her and the official, demanding accountability? Nowhere.
Breann January went very overboard, by the way, with, yanking Caitlin Clark by the jersey. But this is Breann January. Like I don't know. I don't like how physical these coaches are with Caitlin Clark.
And I feel like somebody need to have that voice for Caitlin. Somebody need to have that voice to call this shit out, because this is ridiculous.
Instead, we saw her being dragged back to the huddle like a child causing a scene. No one stuck up for her. No one shouted at the ref.
Did you guys notice all the coaches try to grab CC and pull her to the huddle? Did you notice the head coach not even paying attention, head in the clouds?
No one even looked concerned. Compare that to what other stars get. Coaches in this league and others routinely go ballistic for their players. They'll take a technical. They'll risk an ejection. They'll scream in a ref's face if it means sending a message. Don't mess with my player. But Caitlin didn't get that.
While coaches were turning their back on Caitlin Clark. While coaches were refusing to fight the referees for Caitlin Clark. While coaches were refusing to get a technical foul.
She got silence. She got pulled away. She got claps and awkward glances. And then she got injured again. Even head coach Stephanie White, when asked about the physicality Caitlin faces, gave a muted response. She admitted Caitlin deals with a different level of physicality, but didn't challenge the refs.
Guess what Stephanie White did? Took the ball away from Caitlin Clark. You're helping the other damn team.
Didn't name names, didn't take a stand. And let's not forget, this isn't just about basketball anymore. This is a league that is negotiating a new CBA, salaries, healthcare, player rights, and Caitlin Clark was supposed to be the leverage. She was the momentum, the ratings boost, the one undeniable proof that the WNBA had turned a corner. But now, with her sidelined again, that leverage is slipping. Other players are furious behind the scenes. Owners are watching closely. Sponsors are growing cautious. And the fans, the ones who showed up in record numbers, who bought out arenas, who tuned in every time number 22 took the floor, they're watching too. And they're wondering, how could the league let this happen? Because that's the real tragedy here. This didn't have to happen. It wasn't inevitable. Caitlin Clark's injuries, physical and emotional, are the direct result of being targeted, ignored, and pushed beyond her limits without protection. She's not just the face of the league. She's the foundation, and right now that foundation is shaking. So the question isn't just, when will Caitlin be back? The question is, will the league wake up before it's too late And that leads us to something even more frustrating: the silence and inaction from the people who were supposed to protect her. Let's talk about it next.
Referees call things differently in minute 1 than in minute 48. They call things differently in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. And it's not in a way of like, okay, yeah, you know, this is good game management.
Caitlin Clark isn't just the most watched rookie in WNBA history. She's the economic engine, the storyline, the reason millions have tuned in this season. But when it comes to protecting her, supporting her, and standing up for her when it matters most, the silence from league officials, team executives, coaches, and even fellow players has been deafening. Let's begin with the most obvious failure: coaching leadership.
Look at the coaches. Look at the coaches. What the hell?
How physical these coaches are with Caitlin Clark.
There was a moment, one of the most telling of the season, when Caitlin was clearly upset with a referee. Not a minor disagreement, not a little back and forth. She was hurt, emotional, and frustrated. She approached the ref during a dead ball. Her face was calm, her body language controlled, until the ref said something that made her snap. Something so unprofessional, so disrespectful, that Caitlin threatened to call the league in front of cameras, teammates, in a sold-out arena. And what did her coach do? Nothing. Not a single step toward the referee, not a confrontation, not a word of defense. Instead, Caitlin was literally pulled away from the official, back into the huddle, as if she were the problem. The message was clear: stay quiet, play the game, let it go. That's not leadership. That's compliance. Compare that to what we see with other superstars. When Aja Wilson takes a hard foul, Becky Hammon is halfway onto the court before the whistle finishes blowing. When Brianna Stewart gets shoved, her coach is in the ref's ear immediately. When Asia Durr was disrespected on the sideline, her coach made a scene and dared the league to fine her. But when Caitlin Clark, the player filling every arena, moving merchandise like a rock star, and driving up league ratings, is elbowed, fouled, and insulted, her coaching staff claps their hands and tells her to calm down. Where is the protection? Where is the advocacy? Where is the respect for what this woman is carrying? One assistant coach did walk over, placed a hand on Caitlin's back, and checked on her. Just one. The rest stood still.
Only one coach decided to walk over to Caitlin Clark, put their hand on her back and say, "Everything all right, dude?"
Even head coach Stephanie White, when asked directly about the physicality Caitlin faces, dodged the question. "I knew it as an opponent," she said. She acknowledged the contact. She even called it different from what most players deal with. But did she call it unfair? Did she ask the league for support?
How you're not smart enough to protect Caitlin Clark, it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It really is. It's breathtaking.
Did she demand accountability? Number she pivoted, said Caitlin just needs to adjust. Adjust to what? Getting fouled with no whistle? Getting kneed in the groin and told it's incidental? Adjust to injury? That's not coaching. That's cowardice. But the silence doesn't end there. Let's talk about the league office, the WNBA's leadership. Where's Kathy Engelbert? Where's the public statement addressing the increasingly dangerous level of physicality against Caitlin Clark? This is the same league that issued statements in the past for far less. For tweets, for technical fouls, for missed protocol. But now when the player driving historic ratings is publicly confronting referees and breaking down from injury, nothing. Not a word. You can't push Caitlin Clark on every billboard, use her likeness to sell jerseys, run social media campaigns around her highlights, and then suddenly go silent when she needs you. That's exploitation, not support.
This young lady has transcended this damn league, and for the way they're treating her is despicable.
What's worse? Behind the scenes, league sources have reportedly told broadcasters not to make it a Caitlin Clark show, but when fans are lining up to see her, tuning in to watch her, and buying WNBA gear because of her, it is her show. She is the star. Pretending otherwise isn't humility, it's delusion. Caitlin Clark didn't just win a game, she ended a conversation. Paige Buchers may be talented, but this matchup made one thing crystal clear. Caitlin operates on a level the rest are still chasing.
Her brother just erupted online. He's mad. The referees was a complete disaster this game. Caitlin Clark erupted on them numerous of times in this matchup. Stephanie White erupted. Caitlin Clark literally had to get pulled away. She started crying. She finna put the towel over. She's bawling right now. Because she know she's hurt, and these referees allow her to get hurt. Caitlin Clark, brother, make no mistake, this is on the ref, and he know his sister's hurt right before All-Star game. All the hacking, the pushing, the damn shoving, all of this was unnecessary. I am sick of this shit. The refs were letting defenders hand check Caitlin all damn night and hold Caitlin Clark without consequence.
From her vision and leadership to her sheer impact on every possession, there's no comparison. Paige played her part. Caitlin ran the whole show. So the next time someone brings up this so-called rivalry, just remind them what domination really looks like. And if you're riding with Caitlin Clark all the way, drop that 100% in the comments, because real ones know. All she's done is show up every night and raise the profile of a sport that's needed a breakout star for years. And still, she's treated like an outsider, a guest who doesn't belong at the table. And when she gets elbowed, when she's dragged down, when her body finally breaks from all the uncalled contact, no one speaks. That silence is a choice. And let's not forget the media either. Certain analysts have made careers off of downplaying Caitlin's rise. They question her toughness. They mock her stat lines. They say the league shouldn't change for one player. But here's the truth. Every successful league has changed for stars. When Steph Curry came into the NBA, the game adjusted. The spacing changed. The whistle changed. Why? Because the product is better when stars can shine. The WNBA, for the first time in decades, has a true cultural icon on their hands. And instead of protecting her, they're watching her fall. Caitlin Clark is not just a player, she's a turning point. And if the league fails to support her now, they may lose more than just a few weeks of basketball. They may lose the trust of the millions who showed up to support her. And by extension, support the WNBA. Because here's the bottom line. You can't build a league on a player you refuse to protect. This isn't just about fairness anymore. It's about survival. It's about whether the people in power, the coaches, the league, the media, the players, will finally step up and say, enough is enough. But until they do, Caitlin's out there fighting alone, and that fight is costing her everything. Now, as we close, let's look at what this all means. Not just for Caitlin, but for the future of the WNBA.
That is a thing. It's like he definitely said something inappropriate, which is why she didn't get a technical foul. She said, I will be calling Sue. Sue Bledge, the head of WNBA referees' performance.
Millions are watching. Not just fans of Caitlin Clark, but fans of fairness, fans of basketball, fans who believe the best players deserve to be protected, not punished for their greatness. And right now, they're all seeing the same thing. A league letting its brightest star fight alone. She's been elbowed, shoved, kneed, disrespected by referees, and let down by silence. And through it all, she still shows up, still competes, still carries the WNBA on her back, injured or not. But how long can one player carry the weight of a league that won't carry her back? This isn't just about Caitlin Clark anymore. It's about what kind of league the WNBA wants to be. One that protects its stars, or one that lets them break down in silence? Because here's the truth. The cameras are rolling, the fans are paying attention, and the damage is already being done. If the WNBA doesn't act now, if the officials aren't held accountable, if the leadership stays silent, if the coaches keep looking the other way, they won't just lose Caitlin Clark, they'll lose the trust of an entire generation. So if you believe Caitlin deserves better, if you believe in fairness, if you're tired of watching greatness be punished, comment 100% below and let your voice be louder than the silence from the league. Because if they won't protect her, we will.